Phew. I feel like hello, we're talking. Hello, we're talking. Always.
Hello, hello.
Hey, hello
Hey,
everyone.
what's cooking? That was a very small hey. What's going on here?
No, I mean,
Too much work?
yeah, I think all the team is under the weather, working hard. So yeah,
I mean, it's the startup life, isn't it?
yeah. Well, we're
You,
here for that.
it's been a couple of years already, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, okay. Well, hi to everyone. Thanks for joining. This is Laurent and Gabin, co-founder of Focus Tree. And yeah, I mean, today, the agenda is quite simple. We're just gonna come back to what's been happening in the last 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's been more than a month, right? Without the MAA, we've been super busy shifting the strategy from Web 3 to Web 2. I think we talked about it last time, but yeah, it took us a lot of work, and now I think we are starting to see some good results, and yeah, we are ready to share it with the community. So yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Um, so what has been up, Gabin? Like, if you could sum up maybe the big change in terms of product strategy this past month, what would you say were like the big difference?
Yeah. So we've been experimenting a lot with prototypes and interacting with Forest users.
Mm,
Forest is the main competitor. They have more than 40 million users. So we try basically to convince people to not use Forest and using Focus Tree. And
mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the process, users would consistently prefer Forest over Focus Tree. But since 2 weeks ago, I think we consistently they prefer the new version of Focus Tree rather than Forest. So for us, it's been
Mm,
a huge tunnel of iteration
yeah.
on the prototype. But now we are very confident that we can build
Mm.
maybe not a 10x, but a 5x products better than Forest. So
How
I,
many how many people did we talk to, do you think, like this past month? So
I
just so people who are watching the stream, we're really talking about Web 2 people, right? We're talking about the typical students, mostly in the US. So
yeah.
people
No,
understand.
I can look because we take notes of all the calls, but I think it's between 5 to 7 every week. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe 20, 30 people.
Mm. Yeah,
Last week.
I think we are even close to between 40 and 50, I would say,
Mm.
overall. But yeah, I mean, it's been a process of iteration. It's true that in the beginning, Focus Tree wasn't very convincing for them. Maybe you can get back to it. Like, what was the main reason why people still prefer the simple
Yeah.
forest compared to
So
the Focus Tree 1 month ago?
exactly. So many things. First, they were a bit lost with all the Web3 specific features like the wallet, the airdrop points, a lot of stuff that we take for granted. When you talk to normies, they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Right? So we decided. We talked with our Web3 OGs, you guys, and we figured out, okay, let's put everything behind Web3 mode. That would be off for new users, so Web3 people can still keep using the app like usual, but for
Mm-hmm.
new users, it's more simple. One thing to notice though is like the art is really what makes us stand apart. Like um, everyone is loving the art. So for us, it's really cool because we're still a small team, and you could think like, wow, so much money invested in art. Like we have three 3D artists. A lot of founders could say, yeah, it's probably too much at your stage,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, this is how we stand apart from competitors, and this is also part of the reason why they will choose Focus 3 instead of Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And the other big reason why they prefer Focus 3, I think, is the social aspect. Like we offer features that are not possible on Forest or other competitors, and they are really really excited about that, to the point that
Mm.
they really want to try the app now, like the version we showed to them, and we put them on a WhatsApp group and keep
Yeah.
asking question to converge to the best product. So yeah, it's very exciting. Like a good mix of the art and the social aspect is really what's gonna make Focus 3 the best focus app for students. Yeah.
Mm. Could you touch upon the concept of social, because it seems like it was really the key turning point for us during those user interview,
Mm.
when we start showing specifically this concept of feed. People really fell in love with Focus Tree, and really were like, okay, now I'm ready to ditch Forest and go to use Focus Tree.
Yeah.
What exactly do you mean by social? What did we add?
So, yeah. First thing we tried is the fact that people would like to focus together in real time. So
Mm-hmm.
you're at your home, you start a focus session, and you can simply invite a friend who is also studying at home, and you can both do it together, which creates a lot of motivation to
Mm.
do that. So that's one thing we tried, and it really worked. Like it worked instantly. So we're like, okay, cool, we're on the right direction. Then we tried many other social features. One of them is the challenges, which is a way, let's say, for example, you can create a challenge with your friends, and you say, okay, let's see who's gonna focus more between us until the end of the year. Or you can say, let's do an Halloween challenge, and there's a rare tile to earn. And what we have to do is focus every day for 1 month, and then you earn this tile. This
Mm.
kind of challenge, and people love that. I can tell that. So we don't have challenges yet in Focus Tree, but people love that, so it's gonna come for sure. And the last very surprising and counterintuitive social feature, I would say, is a feed.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds crazy, but we experiment. If you know Strava, if you run or if you do sport,
Mm.
Strava is the leading app for athletes, and basically you can see what your friends are doing, like when they are training, where they run, how long, how fast, this kind of stuff. And we had this weird idea of, okay, to do the same for focus, like uh, when did you study, what did you study, like did you study math, did you prepare like for a biochemistry exam, this kind of stuff, with who did you study, this kind of stuff, what's your
Mm.
habits. And we were like, okay, let's try that, and people really 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 love that. So we were like, okay,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Okay, so if we sum it up, so the focus together. So now people can invite friends and focus with others. That was like instant win. The challenges. So now you can challenge yourself, but you can also challenge your friends. So that can be challenged like don't spend more than 15 minutes a day on TikTok and things like that. And then the third is the concept of feed, very similar to what Strava is doing, which is like the leading app in fitness. And people can just see what basically their friends are up to, by just scrolling on the feed, and people in the same uni, people in the same major as them, and things
Yeah.
like that. Okay, no, super clear.
And just
Yes.
to be specific, it's not yet in released. It's some prototypes we validated and tested.
Yeah.
Um, but the core idea that we're building like this week is the friends concept, because right now in Focus Group you don't have friends, and if you want to be a social app, you need to have friends. So this is something we're working on. And one cool feature with friends is just that every time your friends are focusing, you get a notification
Mm-hmm.
and you start to FOMO, like, oh my god, my friend is studying on this exam. Okay, I'm gonna join her and focus together, and maybe we get more
Mm,
reward. We do it together. So this is very powerful. Nobody is doing that, and people are really exciting about this idea. So yeah, we
mm.
have chance of success with that.
It almost make me think of the Be Real app. When people receive that notification that you have to post within the next 15, 20 minutes or 1 hour. And so there is this FOMO effect where everyone start posting.
Exactly.
Nice. So very cool. Okay, so social was like a key factor, something that other apps don't have, and then that we have, and it seems like it's really working well.
Yeah.
When should we expect like to have it actually released in the app so we can
Like,
play with it?
yeah, the full version of it, like the full vision we have, it should be by the end of the year.
Okay.
But like I said, this week we are just adding this friends aspect. Then we're gonna launch an actual uni,
So
and
you mean this friend aspect? What is it? The study together, or what's the friend
yeah,
aspect?
it's basically you can invite. But you can just have friends, and you can just go to their profiles, see their
Okay,
stats, basic stuff. But it doesn't exist yet, so it's a
sure.
net positive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the other aspect is indeed the focus together. So this is ready. We're gonna release it next week, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, first version of it. So yeah, having friends, focusing with them in real time will be the first version, and
Mm-hmm.
very soon we're gonna experiment with the feed. Maybe it's you can validate stuff in prototypes, but maybe you ship that and you realize it's not working. So it's startups. We don't know, but yeah, it's
Mm.
gonna come.
Nice. Okay, super excited. Cannot wait also for the feed, so I can start scrolling on that. Something also that was I think we struggled a bit with was like the concept of core loop, meaning that how gamified should we have the app?
Yeah,
Because Web3 people tends to love games, but that's not the case of Web2 people who use focus timers. So people understand the persona. It's mostly women between 17 and 23 years old, with like a lot of friends, and they don't necessarily want to play games. So how did we find that balance? Like, what do you think is the optimized core loop, in your opinion?
yeah. So you realize, like, just building a nice garden, a big garden, like basically the bigger your garden, it means the more time you focused. This is
Hmm.
very simple, and this is what intuitively people understand. And everything else is like additional and shouldn't be part of the core loop. So what I mean is, you should just like collect tiles, maybe save up some coins, maybe in some version of it, to build nice tiles, and then just try to express your uniqueness
Hmm.
and creativity through building the best possible garden.
Hmm.
So yeah, very
Hmm.
basic, but it seems like it's an optimized version. We experimented a lot with a concept called auto-generated gardens. Maybe Laurent, you want to explain the idea?
Yeah, that was some crazy idea that I had originally, and I thought it was great. So I started prototyping it, and so the idea was that as you were focusing, the garden will grow automatically, and so every time you will finish your focus session, you will have a garden that is more or less big, depending on how long you focus, right? And I mean, yeah, prototyping it, started showing to people, and everyone was like, "What is going on here? What's the point?" Well, there was two reactions. The first one was like, "What is going on? I don't understand." Which makes sense when you think about it. Like, you have a garden that just grow by itself. So that was the first reaction, and the second reaction, which people understood, but they didn't like it. They were like, "No, but I want to be able to decide what to do with my tiles and create my own garden, right? I don't want you to auto-generated anything." And yeah, I mean, it was clear that after like maybe 5 interviews, it was not the right way to go. I know when I say it now, it sounds so obvious, but I mean, I swear, when you
Mm.
haven't had those interviews, you really think it's going to work, and then it doesn't. So yeah,
Yeah,
super important. Talk to users all the time. You realize that most of the time you're wrong. I think the hit rate is like 90% of the time we are wrong. Like,
yeah,
ideas that we have, they're just wrong 90% of the
yeah,
time, which is crazy.
yeah,
Only 10% of the time we have an idea, and and like people are like, yeah, I like it, and then you iterate on it. But like 9 out of 10 people are like, nah, I'm not gonna use that. And so, wow, it's crazy. But yeah, that was the
yeah.
auto-generated garden.
So
It's a
yeah,
dark memory of my path as a product
yeah.
designer.
No, but the good thing is we try to say, okay, we have those styles. People love the art. We have this style system, which is great for creativity. But what are the different options we have to create? Like, what are all the crazy apps we can create with that? So we really didn't consider what we have today. We really went through a lot of brainstorming sessions, creating
Mhm.
really crazy, new apps with it, new prototypes, and then we showed them to users, and we realized what we have today is really close to optimal already. So
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like nothing has changed, but at least now we have a very high conviction on what the core loop should be and
Mm.
why it works. You know.
Makes sense. Makes sense. We have almost 200 people on the live, so thanks for joining. If you
Yeah,
have any question, please put it, and I will see it appear in the chat. If you can avoid the when token, please
I mean,
spare us.
let's address it right now to avoid the when token, when TGE, right?
Okay. Okay. So
So
Gabin, when token? Tell me
yeah,
when token.
yeah. Let's do. We do the AMA ourselves because I know you guys are probably wondering. Some of you when token. So first, guys, we need two conditions for token. First is market conditions, and second is traction conditions. So traction means basically having focus tree growing very very fast, right? Market conditions, let's be honest, I think we are there, right? Bitcoin all-time high. The market is probably, it's not financial advice, but market is likely to start growing, right? So I think market condition is finally good. And second condition is having this traction, which means for us having around 100,000 active users. Right now, to give you a sense, we have 10,000 active users, right? And so yeah, we still need to 10x that. It might seem crazy for you guys, like, oh, they're never gonna do that, but it can go very very fast. Maybe Laurent, you want to talk about the two strategies we have to grow, but yeah,
Yeah.
just to remind the strategy, when we have market conditions, we are very confident that in the next 3 to 6 months we'll hit this traction. Then we can think of launching a token.
Yeah.
So this is answered. And why is it important for you guys? Why is this strategy? If we have 100,000 active users, we're in the top 5 consumer projects, right? Ever in crypto, with Pixels, Sorare, Pirate Nation, this kind of stuff. So if we are in top 5, it's probably not financial advice, not like don't, but it's probably like a very high valuation for you guys. So it means that uh, if you get an airdrop, it's gonna be more valuable than if we do launch a token like when we have no traction. So does that make sense? If
Yeah.
we make it with our Web2 strategy, then the project will be very very good shape, and you guys are gonna make it. So basically, if we make it, you make it. I hope I clarified this.
No, I mean, makes a lot of sense. I think it's completely useless to launch a token right now. It's gonna be, it could, I mean, it will certainly be a total fail, and it will be a huge burden for us, also personally on the reputation layer, because it's not nothing to launch a token. Most people don't care because they're like anon behind their screen, but we are actually, the face of the project, and we don't want a horrible token launch. Like, that's not That's not
Yeah.
really our goal in life. We already spend a lot of time on this product, years and years of our life. So yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
take our time, and when we feel that it's right, we're gonna do it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the general. And to talk about maybe the distribution strategies, so there's going to be main way to grow. The first one obviously is what's called word of mouth, which is kind of like, the best way to grow, especially with mobile apps, is when people start sharing the app. And we are already seeing this, so we monitor everything. When people share the app, we have like a matrix, so we see right away. And so the idea is to incentivize sharing with the focus together, so people will be able to invite their friends to focus with them. And then the social aspect also. So it's something that we are really like working hard on it, from a product perspective, how to make sure that people will share the app more and more tomorrow, and that will help us to have like what's called a very healthy organic growth. And that's how you can reach millions of people ultimately. And then the second one is one that is a bit less organic, which is just to have a content strategy, mostly on TikTok, because that's where most of the people we are targeting are. We spend a lot of time doing user interview, and we always ask at the beginning, how many hours do you spend on social media and which one? And it's like always TikTok, right? People are like so addicted to TikTok, so we have to be there. And so we are establishing and testing a strategy this week of short content to bring people within the focus tree ecosystem. So yeah, very bullish on this. And maybe I will finish this by saying that the market of students is really big. I think that's the main difference with most of the other apps, especially in Web3. You have to understand there is around more than 1 billion students in the world at the moment. So if focus trees start to be the default solution for those, it can be great. We can have like, if not 100 or 200 million students. I really believe it's possible, if you can build a product that students love. And ultimately, and if people love it, they will share it.
Yeah.
And so since the market is huge, the opportunities as well
Yeah.
enormous, like really big.
I'm gonna write, guys, an article to explain this our strategy, why we're not like the typical dApps, because most dApp, even if you love them, they address really really small markets. Everybody is fighting for the crypto natives, which is mainly like 50K active users a month. Is really really small, and it costs a lot to target them. But we're in a unique position to tap in a huge market, the students market. Those guys, the good thing with students, right, is like in 3 to 5 years they will make a lot of money. So it's very important
Yeah.
to get access to them, because it's a unique position, so everybody is trying to reach them. But right, as they are students, very few people actually target them, so it means it's really cheap to target them. And when you're young, you have a more dense social network, which means
Yeah.
that apps spread faster among young people than old people. Like people who are 30 years old, like Laurent and I, we don't talk to many people, in our day to day. We have less friends than when we used to have like 20. So that's why you want to target young people to get virality. The second aspect, which is very good for crypto apps, is because when you're young, you are more prone and more open-minded and more prone to try new stuff and to build new habits, basically, than when you're older. And which means it's great, because if we onboard the students, we can really onboard them to the Web3 and educate them, because they are still learning every day. But when you talk to old people, they are less likely to build new habits. And so that's why it's very strategic for us. And just try to think, what are the other projects in the Web3 space right now who are at the right timing and can target a very big market and are likely have a very clear strategy to reach to them. You will
Yeah.
realize like it's not so many of those projects. And we cannot disclose, but we're working with an advisor who's really 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 good, like probably one of the best in the world. Is sold several viral apps, and it gives us an unfair advantage to actually make it work. So yeah, I don't want guys to overhype you, but I would say that we are at the right place at the right time with the right amount of funding, with the right advisors, with the right team, with the right strategy. So hopefully we make it.
No, I mean
Make it.
definitely makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I mean let's see. Hopefully we can reach the PMF as soon as possible. But I mean we're working hard on it, and I'm very curious to try those new experiment with the social on the product and also on the distribution layer with the shorts on TikTok. So super excited. Any last word, Gabin? I think it's been 30 minutes. Thanks a lot for all the one that joins. We are now 200 people, and I'm sure a lot of people will be watching it later.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, I mean, guys, maybe one last question if you have one. Otherwise, we'll do another AMA in 2 weeks. So yeah.
sounds great. Perfect. Thanks a lot for your time, Gabin, and thanks a lot for the people joining. And we'll see you in 2 weeks and or on Discord also.